This week's Tuesday Talk, we're talking about internet on the road.
Yep. Internet on the road, it's a very important topic. Everybody wants internet. If you're like us, you actually need internet because that's how you, for some of us, it's conducting business. We don't necessarily have an online business, but I mean, to maintain our YouTube channel, for example, we definitely need that.
And right now, Steve still works full-time, and his job requires constant internet access. So At the moment, we absolutely need constant internet access.
Yeah, and at the moment, we could probably use the Wi-Fi at the KOA because it's of all the Wi-Fi at campgrounds, the KOA is probably going to be in general a little bit better.
And it's still kind of empty. The more people you get in the campground, the more
streaming you have, it adds up quick. So the moral of that story is it's hard to really depend on campground Wi-Fi to be dependable enough, I guess, for you to use it to conduct anything that's somewhat serious, especially when you're in a campground that's actually busy. But even when you're not, I mean, campgrounds aren't there to provide a technical infrastructure for you. So you don't have the know-how, you don't have, and people there don't really care necessarily either because that's not why they're there.
Yeah. So Wi-Fi is not the best option. We figured that out before we even got the Airstream. So the only other option is cell data. Cell data, yes. And cell data is really expensive through virtually any company that you go with. Even
more than 10 or 15 gigs a month, and even then, you're paying a good amount of money for that
Even
data.
the new ones that say that we give you unlimited data, blah, blah, blah.
It's unlimited up to a point, and then they slow you down typically.
Like to crawling speeds.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, Verizon had a wonderful unlimited data 4G plan, and it was just that, unlimited data, 4G, regardless of how much data you use. So if you use 100 gigs in a month, you're not slowed down at all. You're still surfing at 4G speeds, which is pretty darn fast. Verizon got wise to what they were doing. Their towers were getting overloaded with people taking advantage of this, and they no longer offer those plans. So that stinks.
But
however, they have not taken away their grandfathered plans. So people who have already had them know what they have because you can't get these plans anymore. But what's happening is I hesitate to use the term black market because it's not illegal, but there's a market online, specifically on eBay, where these people are selling their grandfathered unlimited Verizon wireless plans for a pretty good amount of money. Usually, if you look on eBay, they go for around $1,000, give or take a couple hundred,
and with
north
that,
or south.
You actually get the plan signed over into your name.
That's actually your plan after that.
And these plans, a lot of them don't have end dates that I know of.
No contract, no end date.
Yeah.
So as long as Verizon will continue to honor their grandfather plan,
which is completely up to them, at any point in time they could cancel.
Yeah,
but
you're
that's
good
just
to go.
something you have to deal with.
Some people don't want to get rid of their unlimited grandfather plan, but they will rent their plans out to people who want to use them. So you're essentially paying the person who owns the plan, not Verizon Wireless. So if you prefer not to own your plan for whatever reason,
or something,
or you don't want to foot the upfront cost to actually transfer the plan over into your name, then that's another option that you can go with.
And we've seen those for like $60, $70. I think it depends on how many lines and
yes, and
stuff like
and
that.
It depends on what the plan was originally signed up with.
Yeah.
You could find some unlimited plans. I've seen a couple for $30 a month for unlimited data. Those are rare, but I have seen them. But usually they're going to be between $65 and $75 a month.
The other thing to keep in mind is that this is eBay we're talking about. There are no guarantees. So this is just somebody out there selling this. So when we bought our plan because we didn't want to deal with a middleman. When we decided to do this, Steve spent a lot of time researching and asking around and trying to find a good seller who other people have had good results with.
Finding a reputable seller is
the cheaper
big business.
Options you find in both buying plans right out and also renting are probably either new people trying to get into the game, so they don't have a lot of good references, or I don't know if I'd go with it. Because if you can make $60, $80, $1,000 if you're selling the full plan, there's no real advantage for them to go much cheaper than that if that's kind of the market rate. So just the cheaper option may not be the best option.
And that's really the case on eBay in general. You don't want to buy from somebody who doesn't have good reviews or doesn't have very many reviews. So, I mean, just use your best judgment. If you're considering this, consider it just like any other item you might buy off of eBay. So read the reviews, make sure you're buying from a reputable person.
So Steve did a bunch of research, found somebody he liked, corresponded with him. We bought an unlimited data plan for one line, right? For one line, yes. For around $1,000, beginning of this year.
Yep.
Once we had the plan, Steve needed to also order a MiFi device from Amazon for like $30 or something.
Yep.
And that is what we use for internet. So we pay $70 a month for our unlimited data through Verizon 4G.
Yes. So when we bought our plan, it came with, essentially you're buying the SIM card. That's it. So you can use that SIM card in a phone or any other device. I found that Verizon Wireless did not allow it. If I were to put it in a phone, it still worked for that phone. However, that phone was not hotspotable. I suppose you could have gone in and rooted the phone or in Apple speak jailbreak, but I didn't want to do that with the phone I was using. But they can't really determine what's a MiFi device and what's a cell phone. So if you buy a MiFi device, which is essentially a small wireless router that accepts a SIM card. So you just put the SIM card into your MiFi device, the router, and then you have internet access through any local machine that can connect to it through Wi-Fi. So your laptop or even a desktop, if you have a wireless card for your desktop, works exactly the same way as your Linksys or your Netgear router at home.
Yeah. So we know we're going to have to get a cell booster before we hit the road. Right now, the cell service is wonderful in Tucson, so we don't need to do that.
We need a cell booster. Probably like a wireless, like a Ranger. I think those are one of the best.
Yeah. When we get one, we'll let you know. But for now, all we do is we use our MiFi device and have good internet.
Yeah, it's worked great so far.
We got this before we moved into the Airstream. We got this in our house because it works the same as having internet. So internet was costing us around $80 a month through the cable company. We had already gotten rid of all of our cable channels and really were just there for the internet. So when we got this,
we just show up for the internet.
We can't completely canceled Comcast and just used our MiFi device for internet even at our house. So it's an option even for people who don't full-time travel, though it's not as necessary, obviously.
So if you're wondering how many gigs we use a month, on the low end, it's probably 70 to 80 gigs a month. On the high end, I think we've gone up to about 150. Last month was pretty high. This month is turning out to be pretty high. Because of football season, I do like to stream ESPN and NFL Red Zone. So that takes a lot of data. And of course, we stream Netflix every single night. As long as you have good 4G signal, streaming is generally pretty easy to do. There will be some networks and some cell towers that might be overloaded, so you may not be able to do that as easily. But here in Tucson, it works fine. So as long as we have cell data or cell access, cell service out in the wild through our cell booster, then we'll be good to go.
So that's how we handle internet. I hope that's helpful. We've had a few people ask about internet on the road. And there's other options. A lot of other people have other unlimited plans or other cell data plans or use Wi-Fi or whatever. There's all sorts of options, but that's what we found to be best.
Yeah, that's what works for us. We've had Verizon phones for a while. The cell service has been excellent, so there's really no reason for us to change, especially if you can get a grandfathered plan, which are like gold these days.
Yes, and that Verizon continues supporting those grandfathered plans.
If you're willing to pay, you can get one.
Yep.
We're not selling ours, though. No, we're keeping ours.
We're keeping ours for as long as Verizon will let us.
Yep.
So that's it. If you have any other questions about life on the road, travel, Airstream, life, anything like that, please let us know in the comments below.
Okay, maybe for 10 grand. We'll sell for 10 grand. Are you good with that?
I think we could do 10 grand.
10 grand?
10 grand.
It's like 15 max. If somebody offers us 20 grand for our line, it's yours. Maybe 25.
I'm going to shut him down now. So as always,
what you want, 30?
If you like our stuff, give us a big thumbs up. And we'd love for you to subscribe. And we will see you next time.
50 grand is yours. Bye.
Bye. Oh, boys.
I'm just here to be your 5-year-old.